What's going on, man? It's your man Black Reality TV back again with y'all with another one, man. So I want to talk about this topic, man. It's a hot topic going around in boxing circles, man. This whole Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford situation when it comes to purses, right? It's been a lot of stuff floating around, Now, obviously these two guys are, not going to fight next. You know what I'm saying? You got Errol Spence, and I want to say this. I respect both of these fighters, man. I like both of these fighters, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, man. I think both of these guys have said things as, they get you scratching your head. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be one trying to pick sides and this and that, and because you got extreme fan bases, extreme fans on both sides, and particularly Errol Spence, man. And I think a lot of it is some delusion that's going on with a lot of extreme Errol Spence Jr. fans. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I like Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite fighters that I like watching, man, currently in boxing. But I just got to be honest. I got to, speak the truth about this whole situation, right? Now, it was a couple weeks. It was a video. It was a video. I don't know if he was joking. You know what I'm saying? Might just had a good time. I think it was his birthday, Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying? And he was talking about the whole split, you know what I'm saying, social media, talking about you can do 60-40, they'll make me 70-30 you, I even do 80-20, you know what I'm saying? And, you got Terence Crawford saying he don't need Errol Spence. It's like I said, man. It's just a whole lot of fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? That's been going on, and this is why boxing is at the current state that it's in now, man. These guys, man. These guys' ego is really, really big. You know what I'm saying? To the point where sometimes it just gets you scratching your head, saying, "Man, hold on, man. Like, all right." You're not as big as you think you are, right? Now, on one hand, let's start first with Errol Spence, man. And what I hear a lot from some of the Errol Spence's fans, like I'm talking about extreme fans. It's different between being a fan and being an extreme fan, right? Now, on one hand, people say that Terence Crawford he should just take 60-40, right? And I mean, I was at that point, I was during that time, you know what I'm saying, okay, yeah, maybe he should just take 60-40. But when you sit back and I thought about it, and you realize one thing, that, you know what I'm saying, Errol Spence is not as big as people are making him out to be, as far as his popularity, as far as what he can generate with, you know what I'm saying, I know that he had in last year, far as attendance go, the most attended fight in 2020. This was obviously last year was the year of the COVID when we still going through this shit, right? But talk about this whole A side, B side thing, which, you know what I'm saying, it's silly, you know what I'm saying? Bob Arum did a recent interview, saying that it should be 40-40 and 20% go to winner. I don't know if that's gonna happen, man. I just want to see the damn fight, and I just wish all this stuff about money and this and that. But since they putting it out there, you know what I'm saying, the fans gonna eat the shit up. The fans gonna want to bicker and argue, because that's what all this shit has come down to. Boxing hasn't been about who's really the best in what weight class. It's all about who can flex harder on another person. Who can do this? Who can, you know what I'm saying, pull this type of stunt to try to pull and try to gain momentum and leverage and try to get the one up on somebody, instead of making a fight when the fight is hot, it's sizzling, it's already cooked, and it don't need to be cooked no motherfucking board. And this is the situation that we're going right now with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. We've been talking about this fight for arguably for the last 3 years, especially the last two. But mainly three, right? 2018, when it really started kicking off between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford situation, right? Okay. On one hand, I hear the argument from Errol Spence fans saying that he deserves the lion's share money than Terence Bud Crawford if they fight, right? Saying that, he's done the heavier lifting, he's fought the better opponents at the welterweight limit at 147. You know what I'm saying? He's done more at the division, right? He's selling more than Terence Bud Crawford on a pay-per-view level, as far as who's willing to support them financially on pay-per-view, right? Errol Spence has done 3 pay-per-views. Terence Crawford has done 2. Errol Spence has outdrew him in pay-per-view sales in all his fights, right? I believe it was 300,000, 350,000, 350,000 against Mikey Garcia, but 300,000 that reportedly against Sean Porter, and then I'm not sure with the latest one between Danny Garcia, right? Now, on the other hand, Terence Bud Crawford, he's had a couple pay-per-views that haven't been successful with Amir Khan and Victor Postol. Now, people are basing that and saying that he deserves the lion's share of the money. And I can't let I be hearing this argument. I see it in comment sections, right? And some people will try to compare Floyd Mayweather accepting a split with Oscar De La Hoya that was largely in Oscar's favor. This is how I know some of the people that say that really wasn't watching boxing all the time, or maybe wasn't paying attention to it enough. Oscar De La Hoya, first of all, Oscar De La Hoya, by the time Oscar De La Hoya fought Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya was already worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He's close to worth at least $200 million. He was worth when he fought Floyd. Neither one of these two dudes, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, can rub that together. Can't come close to rubbing that type of money together. Errol Spence Jr.'s net worth, this is updated 2020, is worth $7 million. Terence Crawford net worth is worth $8 million, right? Now, I'm going to talk about Floyd a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I know people don't want me to talk about Floyd, you know what I'm saying, for a lot of the bullshit he said, but we're gonna talk about just this boxing part of it, right? Now, in 2003, Floyd Mayweather was worth $8 million. His net worth was worth $8 million, right? 2004, net worth was worth $10 million. And so, and this is before he even fought on pay-per-view. Okay? Hit Floyd Mayweather in 2005. Now, this was the year that this was the first time Floyd Mayweather was on pay-per-view in 2005. Almost 10 years in the game. His net worth is worth $15 million at this point, right? And like I said, this is his first pay-per-view. His coming out party on pay-per-view against Arturo Gatti, right? Then he moved up. He moved up in weight at welterweight. This was at 140. Then going to 147. Now, in 2006, he fought Zab Judah, Carlos Baldomir. He fought a couple more times per view. His net worth was worth $23 million, right? So, the people that say, and I hear this argument, well, we can't take what Terence Crawford has done in lower weight classes, right, and come to the negotiation table and say, I want 50-50, because some people say that he hasn't put in enough work. like Errol Spence, and he hasn't done enough as Errol Spence. When this man he is a multi-time champion in 3 different weight classes. He's undisputed at 1 weight class. Errol Spence has he's been in 1 weight class. Predominantly, he was at 154. He dropped to 147. So pretty much he's been at welterweight his whole career. He's a unified champion. All right. And that automatically gets you in a position where you're the man at 60-40. I don't understand that part. How that just automatically just makes you the A side over him. And reminding you, Terence Crawford is not successful on pay-per-view. Okay? But Terence Crawford is one of the highest viewing fighters in boxing. So explain to me if he's the quote unquote cash cow, which I think is silly to me that he's the cash cow. And when Manny Pacquiao had the belt before he got stripped, because he didn't do anything with the belt for damn near 2 years, both Terence Crawford and Errol Spence was talking about Manny Pacquiao. Why is that? Because Manny Pacquiao brings in the money. He generates the money. Even though Manny Pacquiao is not as big. He's not as big of a star as he was post fighting Floyd, but he's still the biggest draw in that weight class. And it shows because when he had the belt, both of them guys were calling them out. They weren't calling each other out for the most part. Honestly, neither one of them really. Yeah, they had a little meeting and they linked up and, talking trash and this and that. But it really wasn't serious. Now when this fight is getting really, really serious, it's getting hot, it's cooked, it's done, we got all this bunch of stalling. We got even more stalling. You had Terence Bud Crawford at the fight. At Errol Spence's last fight. He was there. He couldn't even get in the ring, but for some reason, Manny Pacquiao, he called Manny Pacquiao to the ring. He was asked, "What you think about an up-and-coming fight with Terence Crawford?" And he just brushed off the possibility of that fight. And then Terence go right back doing the same thing when he was at the Virgil Ortiz Maurice Hooker fight just a couple weeks ago. But both of these guys have said questionable shit. But what I'm going with this, and the reason why I brought up Floyd Mayweather, is because Floyd Mayweather has made more money than both of these guys the time they were their age. These guys are not 24, 25, 26 years old. Errol Spence just turned 31. Terence Crawford about to be 34. And like I said, both of these guys' net worth combined it's not even $20 million. I mean, and we sitting running around talking about I'm A side, I'm B side, I'm cash. No, y'all are on the same level, man. Errol, Terence, Keith, Sean, Danny, all these guys are on the same level, bro. None of these guys have really separated themselves from the pack. Far as I'm talking about financially, I'm not talking about in the restaurant financially. None of these guys has really separated themselves. So let me get this straight. So let's say hypothetically Floyd Mayweather was fighting these guys right now, right? Let's say 2005, 2006 Floyd Mayweather. And like I said, he was making more money than both of these guys. Before he got his big payday against Oscar De La Hoya, he's worth $23 million in 2006. So let's say this. Put Floyd Mayweather 2005, 2006, put him in this era of welterweights right now, right? And he's going against Errol Spence. This whole saga, and Errol Spence, and Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather both got in common. They both came up from lighter weights. Floyd came up from 130, 135, 140 to 147. Bud came from 135, 140, 147, right? So what I'm asking is this. Will Errol Spence Jr. be the A side over Floyd Mayweather back in 2005, 2006 Floyd? Saying all the stuff he's saying now. I'm the big fish, I'm this, I'm that. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying because it's just like I said, it's mighty funny. Some people say, well, Floyd took less money to fight Oscar De La Hoya. That's Oscar De La Hoya, man. I'm not the biggest Oscar De La Hoya fan in the world by no stretch of the imagination, but Oscar De La Hoya was a legit cash cow in that sport of boxing, man, during the time period at which he fought. Errol Spence nor Terence Crawford are cash cows. Neither one of these two guys. So my question is there a side between is there a side between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford? Given the numbers that I've broken down, and I'll put the link, you know what I'm saying, if you a type of person that want to, count people's paper and check up on people's money, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to leave the link in the description box. It goes by each year Floyd Mayweather Jr. net worth. And like I said, before he even was called Money Mayweather, he was making more money than both of these guys. And I remember during that time that I didn't hear none of the bullshit, the A side, B side shit floating out in the public the way it is with Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford. If you step out your house and walk to a random person and ask somebody what you think about Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford, they'd be like, some people probably say, who are you talking about? These guys are not as big as what people are portraying them out to be, man. To me, the winner of this fight will not only be considered the best fighter in the world, but probably the face of boxing below the heavyweight division. This fight is important. It's important for both of these guys' legacy, man. It's a legacy defining fight. And if they want to pass it by and they don't feel like they need each other, all right, then we put it like this: we all gonna remember it. We gonna remember what really happened. And the one last thing before I wrap this up, right? When Errol Spence came onto the scene, because some people knew who Errol Spence was, but a lot of people really started knowing who Errol Spence was when the whole leaked information came out with him sparring Floyd. That's what really got Errol Spence's name high, right? And during that time, remember, Keith Thurman was considered the top dog at welterweight during the time period that Errol Spence was on that come up, and he kept calling out. He was 14, 15, 16, calling out Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him. And a lot of the fans, they bashed him, rightfully so. He said he wanted $10 million to fight Errol Spence Jr. People say he was crazy, this and that. All right. But but to those who's upset during that time with the whole Keith Thurman situation with Earl Spence, and people were saying that was crazy, how he can demand $10 million to fight a prospect. Well, why are some people not saying the same thing when it comes to this Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford situation? When he floats out that he should get 70-30 or even 80-20 jokingly, but 60-40 was the offer, right? But even 70-30, right? And people are going along with the 7 saying he should take 70-30. Why should Terence Crawford take 30% of a purse when he's worth more than Errol Spence? Seriously. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, man. Y'all drop a comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this, man. Is there a side between Earl Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, or you like me who feel like there's really no A side between both of these two? This your man Black Reality TV. I'll holler at y'all in a minute. Peace.